All right, ladies and gentlemen. So we're starting off a new series of The Art of Seduction where we listen to the audiobook of The Art of Seduction, and I'm going to be giving you guys my feedback based on the audiobook, okay? So we're going to be listening to it in real time. We're going to pause it in between sections based on what I feel like it's good information. And we're just going to listen together, and I'm going to give you guys my take based on the whole book. Now, let's see if we could do the whole book, but this series is only gonna be on Patreon completely, but I'm gonna post smidgets of it on my YouTube channel, but I can't post everything because of copyright claims. So if you want to see the complete video, become a Patreon member by clicking on the description down below. We're going to be uploading the full video by tomorrow, but right now this is just a small version of it, and if you guys enjoy this, well, subscribe to the Patreon, okay? Help Father Alex pay tuition. All right, let's begin this.
Was a power that was so temporary and frail, yet women had no choice but to submit to this condition. There were some, though, whose hunger for power was too great, and who, over the years, through much cleverness and creativity, invented a way of turning the dynamic around, creating a more lasting and effective form of power. These women, among them Bathsheba from the Old Testament, Helen of Troy, the Chinese siren Shi Shi, and the greatest of them all, Cleopatra, invented seduction.
You know, it's funny because don't you notice how in society seduction is seemed like a negative word? It's almost like a negative connotation. And yet seduction is the feminine form of power. Right? Isn't that funny? How like why is it that word is so taboo, and yet it originates from the woman's need to have some sense of control, but not being able to physically overpower the man. And so seduction was created. But it's funny because it's such a negative thing for women to use their power. It is a negative thing. And it's actually in our culture, it's encouraged for men to take what they want. But when it comes to being sneaky about it, there's like a negative connotation to it.
First, they would...
I'm telling you, man, us guys are really good at getting power. Like men are so good at capitalizing power from women. For example, before we took power from women because we were stronger. After that, we took power from women because we were more aggressive when it comes to political realms. Now we give women freedom, and now we're taking power from them because we're saying we're also women. You gotta love the irony, ladies and gentlemen. Oh Lord, it's like, yeah, sure, you ladies could do whatever you want, but you know what? Now I'm a girl, and I'm gonna dominate your own area of dominance. Man, us guys, we are so good at gaining control that we'll even become a woman for the sake of power. All right, let's talk again. So
draw a man in with an alluring appearance, designing their makeup and adornment to fashion the image of a goddess come to life. By showing only glimpses of flesh.
This also works with ladyboys, by the way. And also, this also works for men. Any man who, any gay guy will tell you, or even transvestite, will tell you that a lot of women fall for them. And that's because even women, I think this is just a human thing, even women are infatuated by the feminine, like accessory-driven way of women. Like even women will fall for that spell.
They would tease a man's imagination, stimulating the desire not just for sex, but for something greater, the chance to possess a fantasy figure. Once they had their victim's interest, these women would lure them away from the masculine world of war and politics and get them to spend time in the feminine world, a world of luxury, spectacle, and pleasure. They might also lead them astray literally, taking them on a journey as Cleopatra lured Julius Caesar on a trip down the Nile. Men would grow hooked on these refined, sensual pleasures. They would fall in love. But then, invariably, the women would turn cold and indifferent, confusing their victims. Just when the men wanted more, they found their pleasures withdrawn. They would be forced into pursuit, trying...
They were like, come on, girl! Come on, one more!
anything to win back the favors they once had tasted, and growing weak and emotional in the process. Men who had physical force and all the social power. Men like King David, the Trojan Paris, Julius Caesar, Mark Antony, King Fu Chai would find themselves becoming the slave of a woman.
So many men. You don't know when a man is a slave to a woman. That's the beauty about the feminine power, is that men cannot tell when a woman is controlling them. It's really difficult to tell because we feel like we want to do it. It's almost like a parasite, and I'm not calling you ladies parasite, but a parasite will give an animal certain urges that it would not have if it didn't have the parasite. Women are really good at getting their way in a subtle and sophisticated way. And that's why this book emphasizes the female form of seduction, not the masculine form, but the female form. It's something that any man who taps into his feminine energy will notice the influence that comes with it.
In the face of violence and brutality, these women made seduction a sophisticated art, the ultimate form of power and persuasion. They learned to work on the mind first, stimulating fantasies, keeping a man wanting more, creating patterns of hope and despair, the essence of seduction. Their power was not physical, but psychological, not forceful, but indirect and cunning. These first great seductresses were like military generals planning the destruction of an enemy, and indeed, early accounts of seduction often compare it to battle, the feminine version of warfare. For Cleopatra,
like the feminine version of warfare, it's like Sun Tzu even talks about it. Winning a battle without bloodshed is the ultimate form of strategy. That's a feminine way of power. The masculine way of power should be your last result. The masculine way of seduction should be the last result that you should have. The feminine one should be the first one, through winning people's hearts and mind, through playing on people's fantasies. Rather than you taking over a city and saying it's mine, you win them over. They're gonna talk about this. This one guy, Cesare Borgia, I think so, was it? That when he would conquer a city, he wouldn't just conquer them. He would actually let them keep their leaders, let them keep their currency, but he would just let them know that now he has the power. But he would not kill them. And he didn't do that because he was a nice guy. Because Cesare Borgia was fucking ruthless. But he is the guy that the prince from Machiavelli is made out of. Like, he inspired the prince. Like, that guy was ruthless. But with his ruthlessness also came an understanding of winning the hearts and minds.
it was a means of consolidating an empire. In seduction, the woman was no longer a passive sex object. She had become an active agent, a figure of power. With a few exceptions, the Latin poet Ovid, the medieval troubadours, men did not much concern themselves with such a frivolous art as seduction. Then, in the 17th century, came a great change. Men grew interested in seduction as a way to overcome a young woman's resistance to sex. History's first great male seducers, the Duc de Lauzun, the different Spaniards who inspired the Don Juan legend, began to adopt the methods traditionally employed by women. They learned to dazzle with their appearance, often androgynous in nature, to stimulate the imagination.
Androgynous, that's what I said, right? The androgyny is so seductive that us guys don't understand that. We do not. We have this weird retardation where we don't understand that as a man, you have to adorn yourself. You have to take time and look nice. And for me, I would be shaving a little bit more, right? I get it, right? We're not all perfect. But adorn yourself with things. Show who you are. Show your personality through the way that you dress, through the accessory that you have, through the haircuts. Have a feminine flair to you. You will notice that the most seductive celebrities have always been the ones who had a little bit of femininity. Like, there's just something about them that is just completely seductive. And that one thing is the feminine energy. And that feminine energy is seen through the way that they dress.
To play the coquette. They also added a new masculine element to the game, seductive language, for they had discovered a woman's weakness for soft words. These two forms of seduction, the feminine use of appearances and the masculine use of language, would often cross gender lines. Casanova would dazzle a woman with his clothes. Ninon de l'Enclos would charm a man with her words.
Exact, right? Isn't that funny, right? It's almost like every man and woman should return home, right? In other words, every man and woman should find and get in touch with his feminine, and every woman should find and get in touch with her masculine. That is your most attractive self. Ladies, look, man, me, ever since I was a kid, people thought I was gay a lot. I don't know why, right? Right, as a kid, people thought I was gay. Why? Because maybe it's because I wasn't going out with girls. I was too into spirituality. I didn't want to go to hell. So I wasn't really trying to hit on girls. Girls would hit on me and I would say no because I was just so devoted to spirituality. I was an addict, a spiritual addict, to be honest with you. And so growing up, people thought I was gay, and they would pray for me. They would pray the gay away. And like even my grandma one time I was having an argument with my mom, and my grandma, she was like, "Alexis, come here." And I was like, "What, Granny?" She was like, "If you're gay, it's okay if you're gay." I'm like, "Grandma, I ain't gay. What the hell's your problem? Well, you gotta whisper that shit to me like it's a secret," right? And because of that, I missed out on that. I came across as too aggressive sometimes, too assertive. I wanted to be more masculine, and that desire to be more masculine was simply because I wasn't in touch with the feminine. I was ashamed of it, right? And a lot of women do the same thing, but in the opposite realm. The key to this is to look for your feminine. As a woman, the key to this is to look for your masculine, and I can promise you, you will find it.
At the same time that men were developing their version of seduction, others began to adapt the art for social purposes. As Europe's feudal system of government faded into the past, courtiers needed to get their way in court without the use of force. They learned the power to be gained by seducing their superiors and competitors through psychological games.
Yes, rather than taking complete power by force, you win them over.
Soft words, a little coquetry. As culture became democratized, actors, dandies, and artists came to use the tactics of seduction as a way to charm and win over their audience as social milieu. In the 19th century, another great change occurred. Politicians like Napoleon consciously saw themselves as seducers on a grand scale. These men depended...
This is the key to this book, is that the seduction is not meant for just one person. The seduction is more the seduction of everyone. For example, you watch this channel, right? Every time I make a video, I'm trying to seduce you, right? I'm trying to seduce you to become, to see the world the way I see the world. But also when I read your comments, when I read the feedback, you guys are also seducing me to become something, not something that you guys want, but more so to please you. When you guys don't like a content, you guys don't watch it. I see the feedback, I feel pain, and it makes me work and improve my videos, right? You guys have a natural seduction. Notice why the qualities of the videos have gotten better. Why? Because I felt the need that you guys wanted me to improve in my quality of my videos. So because of that, because of the pain that you guys inflicted, and because of your absence, you guys seduced me to improve. Romanticism is a man's way to overcome his flaws. Is a man's reaction to the woman's seduction. And me improving on my videos is my way of reacting to your coldness, of reacting to your seduction, right? So seduction is not just meant for one-on-one, it's meant for groups, for nations, for everyone. And a bad politician is a bad seducer.
On the art of seductive oratory, but they also mastered what had once been feminine strategies, staging vast spectacles, using theatrical devices, creating a charged physical presence.
A perfect example is Kanye West. If anybody has seen any of Kanye West's concerts or even music videos, they're all spectacles. And I can promise you, most likely he was losing money. He was definitely losing money in some of those projects. But the reason why he was doing that was for the seductive aspect, to seduce his audience. You might lose money on this one, but I can promise you the effects of the seduction will pay you on a grand scale. The effects of me improving my videos, of me having more of having more profoundness, right? Dressing better, even shaving, even improving on the background. Those are all feminine things. This is all seduction. This is me trying to win you over. And what happens? It shows in the views. You guys are watching all of my videos now. It's crazy, right? It shows. Why? Because like seduction is something that you put your mind into it, right? Even notice my videos, I don't curse as much. I don't say as many offensive things as I used to. Right? That's because I learned the game of seduction for audiences, and it's not deceptive, right? Because I don't lie to you guys. I always offer refunds based when I always offer refunds for courses and for coaching calls that are not redeemed, or seminar attendance that you didn't attend to. If that happens, I will offer everyone a refund, right? Like you have this authenticity, and people fall in love with you, and that falling in love means that they keep watching you consistently. And this is just not in seduction. This is also in your work life, school life, family life, child, like everything.
All this, they learned, was the essence of charisma, and remains so today. By seducing the masses, they could accumulate immense power without the use of force.
All right, people. So this is gonna be the first one. This is the first one, right? So if you guys like this, obviously the next one that I'm gonna do, I'm in Mexico now, so the video quality kind of sucks, but don't worry about that. I'm gonna get a new computer, and when I get a new computer, I'm gonna improve on it by making the audio sound a little better, because I know the audio quality is not that good. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Subscribe to the Patreon. All you gotta do is be a $5 member, and you guys will be able to get these videos for free. I don't know how many of them I'm gonna post per month, but we're gonna try and go through all of the art of seduction, people. We got a long book ahead of us. Or you guys can vote on which other book you guys want me to review by being a Patreon member. Okay? Anyways, I'll see you guys there, and take care.